Well, today I've got a fun one. Changing out a air handler and condenser. This air handler's in the attic, and it's kind of like a little cubby up here. So I've got to cut this ductwork out of the way to even get access. This thing's kind of been a thorn in my side over the years. Every time I have to service it, I gotta crawl over ductwork. So I finally get to change this thing out. This is actually a Trane R22 air handler that they had matched up with a 410 condenser. I did not do the install. I've only been servicing. And funny story about this air handler, I'll tell you later, but it actually had the R22 expansion valve still in it, and it was working kind of, but I'll tell you later what I had to do to the repair to make it work, and it wasn't replacing the expansion valve. So my idea is turn this area into a mixing box for 2 drops and a little bathroom drop, run flex to it, get rid of all this and tie my flex in back there. That way I have room to work here, because you can't even pull the coil out if you want to. It's just a pain. But yeah, that's today's fun job. Alright, so I got that ductwork out of the way. This is my plan. Kept that off the supply. I'm going to come up with flex somewhere probably across the ceiling so I'm not stepping over it, and then I'm going to drop right back down into that box. That's where the takeoffs are for the vents for the rooms. And yeah, they didn't have a budget for replacing all the ductwork, nor do I want to replace all the ductwork, because I'm not a duct guy. I'll be the first to admit it. And the return, I just cut it off there. I'm going to cap that off. It's going to get a flex into the new unit. So just got to get all this water out of the pan. This has been a ongoing issue with this thing constantly leaking. They put a condensate pump on it. We're going to pipe it straight back. We're not doing a condensate pump if I can help it. And yeah, that's it. So now I got to work on getting this air handler out of here. Alright, so here's what I have been dealing with for years. This was a R22 expansion valve. Power head had, lost its charge. Obviously was probably on the weekend. And here's the tag off the top of that expansion valve, and you see the green label. So that's why I'm going with it. Was probably an R22, but regardless, it failed, and I pulled this thing apart, tried to see if I could clean it out. Maybe something was restricted, strainer or something like that. It's green, nothing. So I ended up just pulling the guts out of that thing. I pulled the needle out, shoved it back in here in an act of desperation, and it's pretty much worked like a fixed metering device ever since. So that's my story there. It could be a 410A valve, but it was broke at that time. And you can see the condition, the rest of this unit. It's been, shouldn't have been in this world now, let alone a few years ago. So we're taking care of that. So you see what a pain this would have been to have to pull a blower on this thing with that ductwork, and I'm sitting basically where the ductwork was. So, and Trane can't make an air handler that you don't have to disassemble to get the stupid blower out. Why they make it like this? Yeah, that wasn't coming out with ductwork in the way, for sure. Yep. I'm gonna need a lung transplant after this job. Alright, making our way. Just gonna slide this thing out and pull the coil out, and then toss it out the hole. We can bring up the new one and the pan. So So far so good. It's probably about 90 degrees up here, but not too bad. It's been worse. I'm just glad to see this thing going. Alright, coil's out. Just got the body lift. My son's helping me today, so it's a huge help. I would not tackle this by myself. Maybe 20 years ago. Alright, that was the adventure. Ended up taking the air handler apart and collapsing it. My next trick, get this pan out, and we got a new one to go in here. I need ductwork. Well, new pan in place, and we're going to slide that air handler up here. Should be downhill from here. Alright, so we got the new handler in place. I've got to flip the coil for horizontal because the way it comes, a horizontal pan would be on top. So they give you these brackets here so that you can make basically those tracks there for it to slide in on. And moved over my all thread so that I can service this thing, get the coil in and out. So I'm gonna get to work on putting those tracks in. Alright, so that's basically it. The track line's up there. That's it. Now we're set for horizontal new drainage. And got her pretty much level. So she's going to live for the next 10 to 15. And hopefully we'll stay ahead of this thing on service and not have water leaking issues. Well, I got the supply connected, the little return plenum here. Just gotta hook my Hvac up and we'll have ductwork mostly completed. I'm gonna hook that 10-inch up after I get the unit finished installing piping and electrical here and connect the drain. Moving right along. Alright, got the Hvac in and ready to hit that piping and electrical. Get this thing on a vacuum. Nice. Alright, so I got just the piping left to do. Did the controls, the wiring, I cheated, and I turned on the air handler because it is hot up here. It's 12:55, 87 degrees outside. I'm not even gonna check the temperature up here, but the fan does feel good blowing on my back. So I get the piping done and hook up this drain, and if that does it, I can go outside. My son has installed the condensing unit, so I just got to hose these lines in, and then last thing I might do is hook up that supply duct, because I don't want it in my way right now, even though I'm moving it. And that's what I'm up to. Alright, got the nitro flowing. I'm going to head back up into the attic. We're gonna start up there, braze that up, and come back out here and finish this up. Alright, let's do pressure tests. Alright, still holding. Yep, we're just about there on vacuum. Ready to fire this thing up. It's been a long day. I think I might have lost about 5 pounds doing this job. Sitting at a 10 degrees subcool, 25 superheat. That is pretty toasty inside right now. 143 over 306, 307. I'm liking it. Sure is quiet. Different. See, I had a Goodman condenser out here before, and it wasn't too bad. Just not a fan. All right, looking good. Okay, we are started up, and this is what we're dealing with here. We've got 66 supply air at the moment. I believe it was like 86 degrees in the house. I still don't want to know how hot it is up here, but there's our ductwork. We just strapped it up overhead and tied into our new mixing box. So it's going to be a lot easier to service now, because most likely I'll be the one coming back, and there's a return. So, all right. We're gonna wrap this one up and call it a video. Just got a few little things to tidy up here, but I did check the drain. We do have some water. Alrighty, it's a good sign. I blew out that line, and probably run some cleaner through it too while I'm here, because I don't want any water leaks. But we got primary float switch, secondary, it's capped off. We got the secondary float switch, so if it leaks, we got other issues, but I don't think we're gonna have issues. So, all right, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you lost 5 pounds like I did watching it. So, yeah, that's it. Drop the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.